I think actually it varies on some issues. I mean, the United States government is very interested in having NATO take on missile defense and territorial defense as a core issue. President Obama in September of 2009 announced a reconfiguration of the American plans to put missile defense systems into Europe. And what the United States would like to do is really now embed that into a NATO context. So, for example, the NATO Secretary General has talked about NATO perhaps spending $200 to $300 million over the next 10 years, which would allow that American system to be integrated with other missile defense systems in Europe that could provide a European-wide missile defense system. On the nuclear weapons issues, my sense is that the United States is hanging back a little bit, where the debate in NATO over the last month or two seems to be defined on one pole by the German position and the other pole by the French position. The French are very much wedded to the concept of nuclear deterrence. They don't want to see that change, and they don't want to see it become more predictable. They want to be very ambiguous about deterrence. The Germans, and they've been public about this, would like to see NATO more involved in the question of arms control and nuclear disarmament. The German foreign minister, for example, would like to see American nuclear weapons in Germany withdrawn. And so you have those two poles they've been discussing. My sense in that case is the United States has been maybe sitting back a little bit and saying, let the Europeans work out the position. When Secretary Clinton was in Tallinn in April at a NATO foreign ministers meeting, she laid out 4 or 5 principles for how the alliance ought to approach the nuclear issue. And they allow a fairly broad spectrum of outcomes. So I think this is one where the United States says, let's see where the Europeans want to go on this. Although I think in the question of nuclear weapons issues, there'll be some language in the strategic concept at Lisbon, but those issues will probably be folded into a broader defense study that takes place over the course of 2011, which is where the real fighting will take place.